Good morning. It's a great time having you. This nothing can stop it prayer moment we have on Facebook. Studies 3 a.m. Thank you. Today we are 5 minutes late. Sorry for that. I had a small technical hinge, and it's a sort of a moment of exhilaration for us as we meet on Facebook. Limited acts with unparalleled things that take us to experience community post-black development at any point in our life. Therefore, this is a great moment for us to experience comprehensive, massive accomplishment. Through the blood of Jesus, we commit everything to your hands. Our, our prayers, our word administration, everything, we soak it in the blood of Jesus. Help us to experience that level. You know that there are testimonies that will be customized for us. We pray that we are able to unleash it, to have that domineering surge in every dynamic, diversifying perspective of our life. In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you. Sorry for the slight delay. A lot of people have been sending me messages on my Facebook and also my WhatsApp, my YouTube, and thank you so much for your blessings of what you have been giving me. Please, I'm sharing with you. Uh, I'm sharing with you a similar title: Unrestricted Utterance for Pinnacle Development. I'm sharing a similar title: Unrestricted Utterance for Pinnacle Development. Unrestricted Utterance for Pinnacle Development. So you are reading from the book of Genesis chapter Unrestricted Utterance for Pinnacle Development. You're reading from Genesis chapter of 37 verse 1, 37 verse 1 to 11. Genesis chapter 37 verse 1 to 11. And it says that Joseph, we talk about a story about some of us, we know about Joseph. It's a Joseph's dream, verse 1. Verse 7. Jacob lived in the land where his father has stayed, the land of Canaan. And this is the account of Jacob, fatherline. Joseph, a young man of the 17, was attending the flocks with his brothers, the sons of Behar and the sons of Zippah, and his father's wife, and he brought their father a bad report about him. He brought a bad report about him. I think and verse 3. And it says that now Israel loved Joseph more than any of his sons because he had been born to him in an old age, and he had an obnecked robe for him. Verse 4. And when his brothers saw their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and they could not speak a kind word to him. Verse 5. And Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brother, they hated him all more. I want to say that those who have prayer requests, you want to bring last week, I think one Godwin, send your prayer request. If you are Godwin, you are listening to me, send your prayer request right now to my WhatsApp line. Also, and Joseph, and he said to him, listen to this dream I had, verse 7. And we were binding sheaves of corn out in a field where we suddenly my sheaf rose and stood up above, whilst your sheaves gathered around mine and bowed to it. His brother said to him, his brother said to him, do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule over us? And they hated him all more, but because of his dream, and he have said, verse 9. Then he had another dream. Then he told it to the brothers. Listen, he said, I had another dream. This time the sun and the moon, the living star, were bowing to me. Verse 10. And when he told his father as well as his brothers, his father rebuked him and said, What is the kind of dream you had? You will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow to the ground before me? And his brother, verse 11, the brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the matter in his mind. So this story, most of us, we're very much aware because you have that sort of revelation radical knowledge. But before that, before I go into this, I want to remind you that I have a lot of ebooks on Amazon, books like Building a Competitive Security Plan at $4. It will be impossible to have this world without you $4. There's something inside the world is needed $4. Your marriage based state of mind to $4. $4. Leaders of generation gets $4. Also have books like building yourself as semi-millionaire $4, enhance your risk taking ability $4, enhance your decision making ability $4, growing with a cloud of luminaries and connoisseurs $4, spotlight level competition put together $4. All these things are available for you. Also have a lot of videos on YouTube, videos on entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship lecture, videos on motivational messages, videos on marriage, dating, and courtship, videos based on River from the Temple sermons, based on economics lectures. Also economics too. We have done all the videos from SS1 to SS3. Those who are going to write WASI is available. After now, I've uploaded only 3 on my YouTube channel. But we have all the topics you need from SS1 to SS3. So in case you need them, let me know. You can call me on, you can send me a WhatsApp or text message on 027510561 so that I can get you a copy of these things. We are selling them. It's very affordable. So we read the story. The story, most of us who have a good student of the Bible, we are aware of it. And the text is that Bible says that Joseph had a dream. Bible said that Joseph told his brothers. And all the dream, the idea was that it was a picture of what God wanted him to achieve at any point in his life. And at the point, people believe that in the Bible was very emphatic. There's no side in the Bible where God instructed him that God never instructed Joseph to tell his brothers. It was something God gave to him, and therefore, if God wanted his brothers to have this dream, God had the power. God had that rebalance of explosiveness to show the dream to his brother. But God never, in the Bible, is very without any ambivalence. The Bible never asked him. God never asked him to tell his brothers about his dream. I'm preaching with you unrestricted utterance for Pinnacle development. There's no side in the Bible where God instructed him to tell his brothers. If God wanted his brothers to know the dream, God had the power to reveal the dream to his brothers. He decided to make his dream, his path to the dream, very, very long, very lengthy, very perilous. It was sort of a rudimentary, arsenal, restricted utterance for Pinnacle development. When he revealed his dream to his brother, that's where the hatred came, and that made the journey to his dream, very difficult. It didn't make sense. It was very nonsensical for him to do that. And that's where the dream, his path to the dream became difficult. His path to the dream became very strenuous because he decided not to restrict his utterances. He was sold to the Ismailis and later sold to the Egyptians. The Ismailis also sold him to Potiphar and ended up in prison. God has equipped you with that adaptive capacity to reconnect your dream. Do not make the path to your dream very strenuous because of unrestricted utterances. So it's very obvious that God never asked him to tell his brothers about his dream. If God wanted his brothers to see the dream, God had the power to show the dream to his brothers. And when he revealed the dream to his brothers, that's where it brought all the very unpleasant, very detestable act. And it's very important for us to understand. Somebody who asks, if he didn't tell his brothers his dream, how could he have achieved this thing? Because some people think that, because he told his brothers, he went through when being sold to the Ismailites before towards Egypt, and he went to later be sold to Potiphar, went up in prison before he got to his dream. But there were several ways he could have achieved a dream without going through that very Herculean path. Somebody say, but if he didn't tell the brothers the dream, how would he have achieved the dream? Look at the path he went through. The path he chose to go through that path to achieve his dream. God never showed him the path to his dream. God showed him his dream. And God never instructed him to tell his brothers. People are going to a lot of situations because of their utterances. And the point is that how will he have achieved his dream? There were other alternative ways he would have achieved his dream without going through being bought by the people and going to the prisons. One of the ways, let me tell you, don't forget that God never told him to tell, God never showed him the process to his dream. One of the alternative ways he could have achieved his dream without going through that very Herculean tax, being sold the Ishmaelites before he went to, one of the alternative ways was that he could have still been in Canaan. Pharaoh will have a dream in Egypt. They don't have anybody to interpret to him. They would have come from him. They would have come for him from Canaan to interpret the dream. Once he is good at interpreting dream and it's known, it would have been that, oh, Pharaoh have a dream, but the dream there's nobody that can interpret the dream. Then we need somebody from Canaan, and they could have brought him from Canaan to interpret the dream, and would have still been the prime minister. That would have been another alternative way without going through all that very heckling process he went through because of his utterances. That's another alternative way. They would have been in the land of Canaan. Pharaoh had a dream, and there would be nobody to help him to interpret it, and he'd have been taken from Canaan to come and interpret the dream and achieve his dream. His exploit of interpreting dream in Canaan would have made him known to Pharaoh. Don't we have people that we have heard about them? They are good in a field. Once he was well known in interpreting dream, he would have still been in Canaan. Pharaoh have a dream. There's nobody to interpret to him, and they have brought him from Canaan to come and interpret the dream and still achieve the same dream. He have achieved the same dream of being the prime minister as an alternative process that would not have been too strenuous. He made his path to his dream very strenuous because of his utterances. There are a lot of stories. Somebody told me some years ago that there was a woman that was in the church. In the church, when they close from church, she keeps the church money. And I think through one of his utterances and conversation, I think he said it. And some people went and told armed robbers. So one day he was in the house in the night, and armed robbers came with a gun and asked him, "Where's the money?" How did the armed robbers get to know that the woman has money? Probably she might have uttered it. He might have told somebody, and I'm going to tell armed robbers. Bible says everyone should be slow to talk. Everyone should be slow to talk. Stop being a braggart for trumpeting your achievement. People are too much of a braggart. And base things put people in a very egregious moment because of excessive utterances. And we saw in the classical case that we can epitomize of Joseph, where Joseph experienced this very, very repetitive, unpleasant act because of his utterances. That's very, very important. Therefore, it's telling us we have to be very careful revealing information of ourselves. You might be talking in an environment, you don't know those who are listening to you. Somebody can hear and go and tell the armed robbers. One day there's a story in the Bible where a prophet, he went to do something. After he finished, somebody, he made an utterance. A small boy heard it and went to tell another prophet, and they deceived. I think in the book of 2 Kings chapter 19. God asked him not to do something, and he revealed it, and somebody heard it and went to tell another prophet. And another prophet said, "God said that you should come here." I think he went to do a miracle, and he said that God have asked him not to eat or something. And there was a little boy that was there. He heard what the prophet said. He went to tell another prophet. Another prophet said that God said, "I asked you to come and eat in my house." And once he was eating in the house, a revelation came. A very positive revelation came that God said, "I'm going to take your life because you have disobeyed me." The people, tedious people, Pretoria, or colossal people are in a lot of unpleasant or monstrous situations due to their utterances. So we need to exercise restricted utterance for Pinnacle development. Robin Williams, American comedian, once said, "No matter what people tell you, words and ideas change the world." It's true, indeed, incontrovertibly. When you reign in restricted utterance of Pinnacle development, you will restructure the world for that permeating and penetrating results. You have to understand that indeed you have to reign in words. You have to understand that indeed words and ideas change the world. Words and ideas, it changes the world. That is very important. Where your words direct destinies. Your word restructure The West will restructure some unpleasant acts in the global world, will shape destinies, will shape the dreams of companies. I want to tell you a story about what happened. A man that was very illustrious personality who couldn't restrict utterance. He called William Franklin Graham. William Franklin Graham was an American pastor, and as you know him, he was a pastor who pastored for more than 6 decades and very prominent, what they call Billy Graham. And Billy Graham, that time from America's president, from Harry Truman to Barack Obama, for more than over 50 years, he was a spiritual advisor to the U.S. president, and they call him a friend to the U.S. president. During his career, he experienced a very act that was very unpleasant. One of the things was that during that time there was this Korea, I think it was Korea War, Vietnam War. He had a talk with, that time the U.S. president Harry Truman consulted him, and he had a conversation about, and he gave him advice on how the U.S. should go about the Vietnam War. So it was a talk that borders on security. It was a talk that borders on war. So after Billy Graham's conversation with Harry Truman, who was the then the U.S. president, he went to tell the media about his conversation about about the Vietnam War, what they discussed with Billy Graham, with Harry Truman. And when Harry Truman heard that they have done that, he never spoke to him again. They were never friends. He never spoke to him again, because he felt that something that is very, very sacrosanct issue that talk about Vietnam War should have not been in the media. And since then, they were never friends. They never spoke till he left the presidency. It was a very, very detestable act of an utterance. There's also a story that also be told in the U.S. between a woman called Linda Rose Tripp and also Linda Rose Tripp and this woman. Let me try it. Monica Lewinsky. Yes, a story that came, if you remember, to Linda Tripp and Monica Lewinsky. And that time, Linda Tripp was a friend to Monica Lewinsky. The two people were working. That time, the two people were Linda Tripp and Monica Lewinsky were working in Pentagon. And when when Bill Clinton won the presidency, he took Monica Lewinsky to White House, and I think she was a secretary to the president. During that time, even though they were friends, Linda Tripp was older than her, I think more than 18 years, more than 10 years. But they were friends because before that they were working in Pentagon. That time, Monica Lewinsky had an affair with the president, and he told his friend, and he was trying to tell his friend, he have a sexual affair with the president. And a friend, I think that is a friend, I think so, he was telling him that, I have this thing to do with the president, a sexual relationship with the president. And Linda Tripp listened to her, and as was listening, they talked evening on phone, and she recorded everything. She enticed her to reveal a lot of information. I see even he slept with the president, and his semen soil his clothing. And they said, "Oh, where is that clothing?" I say, "It's here. Don't wash it. Show it to me." So she deceived her. She listened to her, and she revealed all the information. Thought it's a friend, and it will never come to the media. No knowing that it was a very palpable lie. It was a mendacity. It was fooling herself. At the point, the Tripp action. So later on, after he had given all this information to Linda Tripp gave it to one of these prosecutors, and they filed a suit against Bill Clinton, that Bill Clinton should be impeached. It became a news in the global world. That was called the Clinton and Monica Lewinsky scandal in 1988. That he was being impeached by the Republicans, that Bill Clinton have to be sacked. How did it happen? It happened because Monica Lewinsky couldn't restrict his utterance, and he told that he's a friend. And that, he just sharing information with a friend. The time he realized it was in the media. That almost cost Bill Clinton's presidency. So it tells you, what does it tell you? It is incontestably clear that indeed, whatever way we find ourselves, We have to restrict our utterances. Things about ourselves. We need to convert our mental blocks to building blocks. We need to convert our ideas to achieve incontrovertibly something that's concrete. In as much as we want to achieve that, we should not repudiate. We should not oblivious to the fact that there's a need for us to experience that sort of restricted utterance for Pinnacle development. And that's important for us. We have to take the whole world as our oyster, but we have one of the things that will be very rudimentary for us to achieve is the fact that we have to guide our utterances in whatever we say, especially things that pertain to our life. Exposing information about yourself to people. Somebody can be your friend, it can be you don't know whatever. You know, it can be your friend, but I don't know what is his mindset concerning you. Maybe you have a very detectable mindset concern, and it's very important for us to take those things into cognizance. And these are very important. Somebody will ask, in what way can I exhibit such a character? How can I position myself that I'll be able to restrict more utterances for Pinnacle development? Number one, expansively enhance your productivity per hour to shift your focus from unnecessary restricted utterances. Examine your productivity per hour through your personal assessment and take the necessary strategies to potentiate your production. Sometimes you need to be very productive. Sometimes people are very talkative, people are braggart because sometimes they are not productive with their time. And sometimes when you are not occupied with your time, that's where you engage in unrestricted utterances. People are very talkative because they are not very engaged. People are exercise unrestricted utterance because they are not very productive and efficient with time. They are idle, and when you are idle, it precipitates the act of unnecessary utterances. So examine your productivity per hour, enhance your productivity per hour through getting the necessary strategies. Look at people in your field of discipline that are very productive. Examine their productivity, equip yourself with that, so you can be very productive, so that can shift your mind away from unnecessary utterances that puts you into a very varying situation, unpleasant situation. So be very productive, very efficient with time. Shift your mind, shift your mental endowment to productive things, and control your utterances. There's a woman called Carlos Ghosn. Carlos Ghosn, for instance, was a Lebanese Brazilian automobile magnate. And over the period, he worked with a lot of automobile companies like Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi. The time we had the Nissan Renault Alliance, all those things. He became the CEO at that time. All those years, he was very efficient, very productive. All those industries. That time he worked with Michelin tires in the early stage of his career. Every place he went, when they had problems, he cracked it. He went to Michelin tires. There was that time the company was facing a lot of challenges when it comes to profitability. He helped them to achieve profitability. He went to Renault. He did it. The company was struggling through a lot of preponderance and numerous of financial challenges. He did it. He went to Nissan and Mitsubishi in all those areas. What am I saying? He was very efficient, and at the point in time was a CEO for 2 automobile companies. He was very efficient and productive. And that's where God wants you to live up in productivity and efficiency. And one of the ways that will shift you from unnecessary utterances, from being a braggart, from trumpeting your achievement. You don't need to trumpet your achievement. The world will trumpet your achievement. Go and listen to my motivational message on the world will trumpet your achievement. Right? This will help you shift your mind from unnecessary utterances to very productive areas. And now, number 2, most importantly, examine venerated personality through exhibiting of unrestricted utterances affected their military results. There are a lot of people who over the period, because unrestricted utterances have truncated their development in life. Examine the necessary strategies and equip yourself with these laudable characters. It's very important for you to understand that there's a lot of people who have experiencing this. People have lost their job. People have lost their marriages. They review information in their marriage to people. They leverage on information, and they lost their marriage. This have nothing to do with the devil. Forget about devil. The devil has nothing to do with it. It comes. It's from you. The first enemy you must conquer is yourself. You are your true enemy. Forget about the devil. The devil has nothing to do with it. It's your own attitude that put you in that very debilitating act. I told the story about Monica Lewinsky and Linda Tripp. I told you about all those stories about due to unrestricted utterances. This thing happened. People have lost business contract. People have lost football contract, political contract. People have lost their shipping business. They have lost their marriages, their children, their academic pursuit, their community post-black development, the proactive resurgence in every dynamic aspect of their life due to the utterances. Understand that the first enemy you must conquer is yourself. You are your true enemy. Look within yourself and see how you restrict your utterances. Number 3, channel your energetic potentiality towards higher results, robust strategies. This will shift your focus on higher performance than being a braggart. Dwight Moody, an American evangelist, established the Moody Church at Northfield School and Mount Hermon School in Massachusetts. Moody Bible Institute. So one of the things you have to understand is that you have to channel your energetic potentiality towards a higher results. Anytime you have to position yourself that you be action-oriented personality, you be results-oriented personality. Performance-based assessing personality. So at any point in time, you're focused on achieving your results, on your dream. People are so very focused. You don't have time for such an act. People are very focused to be results-oriented. They don't have time for unnecessary utterances. Dwight Moody, American evangelist, who established the Moody Church, Northfield Church, and Mount Hermon School in Massachusetts over the period, consistently achieved that. So somebody who is so much focused to achieve his dream are very important, that it helped them to deal with this issue. It helped obturate such an act. And you need to equip yourself. Make your mind that your dream before the year ends, everything you set your mind to do, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can do it. Go and read my book on Amazon. If you can dream, you can do it for $4. It's very important for you. And people who have such a mindset don't have time for necessary utterances. They are more much focused. They take into deep reminiscence and reflect on what they want to achieve every hour, every moment, and very, very focused. And this is very important. An attitude, the very lateral attitude you have to equip yourself with. Number 4, comprehensive. Channel your thinking pattern towards creative pursuit to jettison or reduce any excessive unrestricted utterances to build your competitiveness, with that to build your competitive integrated edge. As Walter Ellis Destiny, American animator and film producer and entrepreneur, did over the period. One of the things is that always shift your mind on creative pursuit. Move your mind away from vindictive thinking, acrimony, and resentment, and focus on creative pursuit. When you're there, what are the things you think in your mind? What are your thinking pattern? When you're there, as you're walking, as you're going to work, as you're in your bed, what are the things do you occupy your mind with creative pursuit? That competitive creativity, where creativity meets productivity. If you occupy your mind with such things, you will not have time for unnecessary utterances. So you occupy your mind with competitive creativity. to build your competitiveness. Go and read my book of Building Your Competitiveness, The Crowded Planet. So it's important for you to equip yourself with attitude. Stop unnecessary vindictive thinking, thought of acrimony and resentment. Try to get rid, try to repudiate that act. And focus on creative thinking, creative pursuit. That'll give you competitive creativity and everything. What Ellis Disney, for instance, who created the American animation industry, that time he worked with a lot of animation industry, but he couldn't experience that community post-black development. A point in time came that he thought that he can create an animation with synchronized sound. That's why he created Mickey Mouse, and that was the first animation in the global world that have synchronization sound. And that time he built a competitive ingredient edge and became the inventor of that animation with synchronization sound. He created first Mickey Mouse, Cinderella, and all those things. And that time he break through to the top pinnacle post-black development of his career. Because was Ellis Disney understood what it means, the pioneer of American animation industry understood what it means. But you have to focus taking part on competitive creativity to ignite his neglected productivity. And he did it. You can also do it, and that will help you shift your mind from unnecessary utterances to competitive creativity, to build your competitiveness, to grow with a cloud of luminaries, and to take the direction of competition. Number 5, monumentally, move away from any environment, group of people, or circumstance that will trigger you to engage in excessive utterances. Sometimes pray that God should guide your utterances, your thought, and whatever you do. You need a comprehensive search towards building your comprehensive massive accomplishment. Sometimes move away from any environment that will force you to talk so much. Sometimes environment, people you work with, make you talk so much. Move from such environment. Pray God should guide your utterances. Bible, each man should be slow to talk. Joseph made his path very strenuous because of his utterances. He would have achieved his dream through a very simple path without going that strenuous path. And these are very important for you to equip yourself with these things as Christians to achieve that level of comprehensive massive accomplishment. I share with you restricted utterances for Pinnacle development. There's also a video, my motivational message on YouTube. Go to my YouTube, Mr. Motivation, you can get it. Before we take the prayer, I want to remind you that I have a lot of ebooks on Amazon. Amazon, they are building a competence, the crowded planet, $4. It will be impossible to have this world without you, $4. There's something inside the world is needed, $4. A leader of generation thing is $4. Your marriage will be a state of mind to $4. Building yourself as $7 millionaire, $4. Enhancing your risk taking ability, $4. Enhance your decision making ability, $4. Growing with a cloud of luminaries and conditions, $4. Smart the level of competition, put together $4. Have other books like If You Can Dream, You Can Do It. Enhance opportunity, reading capability. Integrity is a principle that never fails. Preparing a child for life realities, making 100 friends is a miracle. I have all of these books available. Also, if you have a lot of videos on YouTube. I have a lot of videos on YouTube, like Bismarck say entrepreneurship lectures, Bismarck say motivation message, Bismarck say your marriage will be state of mind to war, where there are teachings on dating, courtship, and marriage. Bismarck say river from the sermon, where there are sermons. Bismarck say economics lectures on economics, like elasticity of demand, elasticity of supply, other things. Also, we have done all the lectures from SS1 to SS3, and we have all the videos on them. If you want all the videos from SS1 to SS3, you can actually contact me. You have selling them, it's available. You have done the teaching, data response, explanation, everything is available. In case you need any of them, you can contact me or send me a WhatsApp on 027-510-5641. You can get one for yourself. So you want to pray, Kabadaba. Lord, we thank you so much, Kabadaba. We thank you for inundating ourselves with that strong incentive that we should restrict our utterances for Pinnacle development. We thank you for your word. You're giving it that sort of sex to keep on moving on. That you're giving us, that you give it a strong incentive. You're giving us that potentiality that we have to achieve something that's very important. And for us to achieve it, it is for us to equip ourselves. The people have made their path very strenuous. People have made their path to their dream very egregious, very normative because of unrestricted utterances. People have lost their business contract, their marriages, their scholarship, academic performance, and other things, growth and everything, and growth in their church and everything because of the utterances. We saw in the case of Monica Lewinsky in that trip. We saw in the case of Billy Graham and Harry Truman, all those things. It teaches us a lot of lessons. It teaches myriad and collective of lessons that we can equip ourselves with. We are praying that may the Spirit of God engulf us.